my nose fell off. All right. And yeah, love my laugh. So welcome to the Horror Comedy Hangout. And we have another movie review for you today.
Yes,
are you old school like Pennywise, or are you new like Are They Clown, or do you like Friendo? We're going to tell you which one's better and which one you should be watching. So stay tuned.
See you soon.
All right, and welcome back to the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. My name's Chris, the independent filmmaker.
I'm Jessica, the non-independent filmmaker.
That's right. And like I said at the time, yeah, it's funny, right? Yeah,
It's getting funny.
it's getting funny. So like I said at the top of the show, we're talking about clowns, and we're talking about clowns in cornfields.
Yeah, cornfield.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
you were gonna.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna pick up on that, but you didn't take that.
Sorry. You kind of freaked me out with the chainsaw. I can't believe that you talked me into that. I have a fun fact about myself. I can be around chainsaws when they're being cut down, like from a tree, like cutting down a tree. But put me in like a Halloween Horror Night situation or any other situation, the chainsaw's not going to hurt me. I break down, full on panic attack. So how I let him talk me into this kid chainsaw reenactment.
It's really cool. No, right? Good fun fact. But let's get back to.
Oh yeah, it's not all about me. I forgot.
About the review. I'm about to review.
Yeah.
So like I said, Clown in the Cornfield. This came out a little bit ago. We're a little behind again on this, but the cool thing is, and this will be coming out this Thursday, June 5th, and it drops streaming
like what,
on,
a couple of days?
On the 10th.
On the 10th.
I believe it's on the 10th. So
next week.
We're going to tell you if it's worth it. You should stream it or just not stream it at all, or wait till it's on your free service that you already have. So let's tell you a little bit about it. You want to talk about it a little bit? Tell them what it's about. So yeah, it's about this girl.
Oh, you're just going to tell them. Okay, go for it.
Oh, no, it's about this young girl and her dad. Her name is Quinn, and her dad, Dr. Maybrook. He's a doctor. And they moved to this small town in Missouri called Kettle Springs. They're trying to do, like a
revival of the town, kind of.
Well, no, I mean, they're trying to restart their lives after the death of their mother. Yeah. So they are trying to get back to this small town, little small life out of the city kind of thing. And this town is very small, like I said, and it has this
creepy.
It is creepy. Yeah.
It's very creepy.
It's a horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have this factory here called the Bay Pen Corn Syrup Factory. And this factory just burned down just recently. So becomes one of the big factors throughout the movie, right?
Yeah, it kind of like leads up to some kind of fun points in the movie as you go along.
Because all the town folks really work there, and there's like these delinquent kids in this town, or they think they're delinquent bad kids, and they think they had something to do with the fire at the factory, and then the kids think the adults are bad. So it's this generational thing between the young groups and the older kids. And somewhere along older people. Sorry. Well, maybe they're kids. Maybe they still feel like they're kids. Yeah. Maybe that's it.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Quinn meets this group of kids, the delinquents, and she becomes fast friends with them and starts hanging out with them. And the older folks are like, stay away from the kids. They're bad. And then the kids are saying, stay away from the
adults.
Stay away from the older kids, the adults. Yeah, we're just going to use all the kids now. That's right. So they kind of meet in this detention hall. In detention, they all get detention, and then that's how they meet. And then they start hanging out after that. And then, just like a regular horror movie, it's kind of like they go out to this freaky place, which is the Bay Pen factory.
Yeah.
And fields and
which is next to a cornfield.
It's next to a cornfield.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's
creepy.
It's creepy.
And it's what the title of the movie is. So why wouldn't you go hang out in a creepy burnt down building next to a cornfield?
Right. And then, kids hang out in the cornfield, they're partying, doing things they shouldn't be. And then, a clown comes and appears, right? So, that's where it all goes awry from there. That is pretty much the setup for this film. This was originally a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was written, I'll find his name, but yeah, he wrote it in 2020. There's 3 in the series. So this is the first one. This is the first.
So there's 2 more to go, right?
There's 2 more books.
Okay.
Don't know if there'll be 2 more movies, but there's 2 more books in the series. It it did really well, actually. The book he did really well with the book.
Mhm.
And
I'm glad they made it into a movie.
yeah, I think so too.
Mhm.
So who is in this film?
She is from Jenny in Georgia,
Yeah.
and she's also done a couple other things.
Her
But this
name is Katie Douglas,
Katie Douglas,
and she
yes.
plays Quinn. She's the main protagonist. She is what we see the movie through. We see it through her POV
Mhm.
throughout the movie. Yeah, so she's done some TV stuff. This is her first feature.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You were about to say that.
I was.
Go ahead, say it.
It was her first feature.
Thank you. Okay.
Now that you
And then we have Aaron Abrams.
Mhm.
He's been in a lot of
He's
stuff.
been in a ton of stuff.
You recognize him. Everybody
Hannibal.
recognize. Yeah, Hannibal, Blind Spot, Lovebirds, Quantum Leap. It's just he's been around for a long time.
Mhm.
Just a really
Blue Buds is another big
yeah,
one.
just a really solid actor in that. So I liked him. He played her father, Dr. May Brook. Yeah, May Brook. Right. And then there's Carson McCormick. He plays the love interest, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. Love interest, and then he kind of has a twist to himself as well. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
think it's a
yeah, you think it's one thing.
I forgot about that until you said that. Yeah. We won't say it.
No, we don't want to spoil alert that much.
There is going to be a couple spoilers in this, so if you keep going with this, there'll be a couple spoilers, but we won't spoil that one. You can find out later.
Yeah.
It's not a big.
It's not a big spoiler.
It's not a big spoilers, but we'll do some small spoilers.
Yeah.
Like
Then everybody was like, "Oh,
I know,
okay."
right? We were like, oh. There's Kevin Durand, which I love this guy. He's been in
a lot too.
He's been in a lot too. He plays the mayor. He's the mayor of the town. He plays the antagonist in this film. He's been in like Planet of the Apes, X-Men, Robin Hood, Abigail, which was recently. Yeah, so he was in The Strain, which was a TV show, and it was on for many years, a horror TV show. If you ever watch it, because if you haven't watched it, watch it because it's so yeah, watch that. It was done by Guillermo del Toro. All right, and then the big one for us, at least, not the actor, none of the act. He's not an actor, but he's the writer director, or one of the writers and the director of this is Eli Craig. Yay for Eli Craig! If what?
No, go ahead.
Nope.
Never mind. Because it might spoil. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Eli Craig, if you know Eli Craig and you like horror comedy movies, you're gonna know Eli Craig because he did Tucker and Dale versus Evil,
which we also reviewed, and it is one of my favorites.
Yeah, if you have not seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil, please, it is so super funny.
You will laugh from pretty much beginning to
it's
end.
a really good film. Fun fact about him is he was an EMT. So that relates to me since I was a medic and a firefighter. So I relate to that he found that while he was an EMT that they would laugh after the calls. And I think if you're not in that in that space, which I can resonate with because, you see crazy things and you have to, kind of rationalize it and blow it off and everything. And that's, a lot of times you kind of joke about it just to relieve that kind of stress. So he found funny things and kind of tragedy at times. So I think that's where he kind of came from with this too, with his horror comedies. So this film is a horror comedy, which that's what we review a lot of. And it has the horror and the comedy, right?
Yeah, I think it's like a good combination because it leaves you like laughing throughout the movie, but it also gives you enough of those really good kills too. And it's not like, for me, can't do a lot of gore. So to me, this was like the perfect amount of gore.
No, and that's I was gonna, I thought about talking about that earlier. It's almost like that
best of both worlds type of thing.
Yeah, it's best of both worlds. I don't know if it's complete gateway horror because there are some good kills in there. And for you horror fans out there, there are some good kills out there. But there is some comedy. It is very generational comedy. So if you're a little older age and you've had certain things, maybe like an old telephone that's a dial-up telephone, if anybody remembers those out there. The rotary. Yeah, there's a little joke in there with that. And that resonated with me because
it resonated with me too.
And you too, because
I had one when I was growing up.
Because I used to have to do that, and then you mess up and you have to start.
God forbid somebody's breaking in your house.
Yes, right. So, it's gonna take forever. So yes. Oh, and I remembered his name. I got his name here. Adam Cesare was the author of the books, and that came out in 2020.
That's only 5 years ago.
Which
is amazing because you wrote a book 5 years ago, and then 5 years later, you now have it on the big screen, which is pretty incredible. That's a huge accomplishment to do.
I found that because
But
when I looked up to go look up the book, I was like, oh, this book's probably long ago and
yeah,
it's been sitting around and somebody just finally like Eli just found it and
it's like,
decided to
oh, this would be a
blow
great
the dust
film.
off of it and like, oh, maybe we'll make this in a movie. But 5 years ago, and
It's
then
not
he's got
that
it
long
on.
ago though.
Yeah, and he's got it on screen within 5 years.
Woohoo.
This premiered at South by Southwest, a big
Mhm.
um
Film festival.
yeah, that's it. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's what it is.
Another
Not
one,
not the
yes.
airplane.
Not the airplane. I found it very interesting. I watched some interviews and stuff, and or actually, I read this on a thing about Eli Craig talking about how he does how he comes up with his concepts. And
Mhm.
obviously, this was an adaptation of a book, but it's good for anybody out there that's watching this and that's a filmmaker or a writer or anything like that. Is he said he wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel; he was just trying to the car that the wheels were riding on.
Hmm.
So it's always a good way to think about when you're writing or doing your films that you are trying to just you're not trying to create something completely new. You're just trying to create something a little differently, but familiar to the audience that's
Mhm.
watching it. So I think that was a good, really
Yeah,
notable thing.
I feel like this is definitely because you did mention at the beginning we have Art the Clown, we have
Pennywise.
Pennywise. Thank you. I knew it was it. But this to me was like,
Well, that was the big thing about that too. Is
yeah,
and we can pay that off right now. And if you are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. And I replied to all the comments. So
he did.
it was
It was
peop-
different.
yeah, it was different. People were worried.
Yeah.
He was worried too that we have Art the Clown that's just been
Mhm.
out recently. There's number 4 that's
Which
coming
is
out
done
pretty soon,
amazing.
and it's done amazingly. But I mean, it hasn't been recent. That's been since what 2010, 2011.
Mhm.
Art the Clown's been around. But then we had talking about Pennywise. If you're
Been
really old
around for
school, and
years.
that's been since the Stephen King wrote
Yeah.
it. So you know, it's funny that people say that it's like the space is crowded, but it's crowded because of such big clown
Hmm.
movies like those. So everybody's like, well, can we have another clown in there called Friendo? And what do you think out there? Because I think there can be some space for this
Hmm.
clown. I think that it's going to take some time to get there. I mean,
Yeah.
franchise and cult status and all that doesn't
Mhm.
happen overnight. I mean, these other clowns have been around. Yeah, these other
Years.
clowns, the other goofballs have been around. These other clowns have been around for a while. So, but
But
I think there's that space for that.
yeah,
What do you
no,
think?
I agree because I remember before we were going to actually we were going to the movie, and I remember in the car talking about it. We were like, okay, you've got two big clown names you're going up against, so this is going to be very interesting for us to see, and then to go review it and see what y'all think. Because to me, I think they're like you're right, there is space for it, and I don't think it's going to be a big cult following overall. Well, not I'm sorry, not overall, but
Overnight.
quickly overnight. Yeah,
Overnight.
but I
Yeah.
liked the concept, and I think they brought something different in, which is kind of a spoiler, but I really want to say it.
Well, we'll get well.
Don't say it. I'm crying.
Wait, we did say there will be some light spoils out there, and
Well, there's two I want to say.
all right. Well, this one is about the clowns.
Yeah.
So this goes to my throw me off kind of the bad thing about it, the few bad things I have about the movie, but half to 3/4 of the way, no, half. Would you say half?
Half.
Half of the way through the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's not one clown.
Uh-huh.
It's not 5 clowns.
Uh-huh.
It's a
Uh-huh.
lot of clowns, and it took me out of it for a minute.
Uh-huh. It
And
throws you.
it threw me for a loop because I'm so used to just having one killer. I mean,
Yeah.
Scream
Scream.
had
Yeah.
2.
Multiple.
There was multiple people usually in the ghost face mask, but with the clowns, I was just so used to it being one clown, so it kind of threw me off a little bit.
And it takes you a minute to kind of figure out like why there's multiple clowns, and then you kind of start like going over the characters that have already been introduced in the film, and you're like, okay, who could it be? Who's next? Who's this? Who's that? And then you slowly start to catch on to what's really going on and why there are multiple clowns. Once you kind of got back on track of like overcoming the shock a little bit, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
For us at least, we were just like, okay, now it makes sense. Now we get it. And it is very well explained in the movie too. So it's not like it just leaves you on a cliffhanger.
it is explained, but
Yeah.
the ending was the ending was a little, oh,
Oh.
that's no, I mean, like, Oh, that's all. That was the only reason, because we learned the main protagonist of this, or antagonist of this, is like, oh, that's the only reason you're doing this, and then the other folks are doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but I was like, I was waiting for something more catastrophic, more exciting of a reason, because I thought it was one, and then it was multiple, and then I was like, oh, so it's all of you. There's a whole bunch of people that are trying to do this and trying to pull it off, instead of just one trying to pull it off all the time. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But I think the thing I can spoil it because it's in the trailer. The thing that I liked that made it different for me, I did like the fact that there were Jack in the Boxes, and they were like, it's such an old school timey toy. Like I had
that
one,
was very.
everybody had one.
I liked that.
I liked that a lot.
I liked that you knew when that showed up, you're like,
oh,
not just the clown, but you
It's
knew
like
the clown was close by,
Halloween Michael Myers music.
kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good merchandise thing. I was thinking more about the merchandise
so
thing.
if you guys are going to come out with some merchandise, we want a Jack in the Box, or at least I do, please.
Yeah. So that was funny that I thought, oh, that would be a great thing to buy when I was watching the movie too. It was crazy.
Yeah. So we need some Jack in the Boxes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing too, I was going to say, since we've already been on the bad stuff, is the tropes. They're, it's very typical slasher, but that's what I like. That's what
resonates.
My go-to for a horror movie is always like slasher, fun type film in a cornfield. Even because I've always been trying to think of to write a movie in a cornfield. I'm like, there it is, right there. So, but that was the only thing, is like it was a lot of typical tropes that you would see in a slasher movie. But if you go for that, then you're going to expect that, and
you got to make them good,
and you'll be fine with that. But yeah, and I mean the kills. There was some different kills, but for the horror fans out there, you get the kills. There's some comedy. I thought that played pretty well for the comedy.
Yeah.
And, it's a film that doesn't take itself very seriously. And that was, I'm fine with that. And if you're fine with that out there, because that's the thing, is I always hope that people, look at a film and don't rate films together. Like I can go watch a film and I can be like, okay, this film I need to really pay attention to because it's really deep.
Yeah.
You're talking about a slasher film. It's not that deep.
It's a clown in a cornfield.
It's Clown in a Cornfield. It's right in the title.
Yeah.
So when you go watch it, just don't take it seriously. Just go
and enjoy.
Enjoy, because that's what we did. We got our
no expectations.
We got our popcorn, we got our drinks, and we sat in there and we had a good time. And that's all I can ask for.
Froze to death, but other than that,
the movie theater was a little cold. Regal Theater.
Don't go to movie theater in a dress.
Yeah, I didn't go in a dress. So.
Or did he?
Or did I?
No, it was me.
But it moved pretty quick. The other good thing about this is, you got stuff in the beginning. You got horror in the beginning. It wasn't a slow burn. So you got the action up pretty quickly. These are characters that I felt like I thought that I liked and cared about, and were
you were vested.
I was invested in them. Some other people out there have thought differently, but I myself were invested in where these kids were going and what's going to happen with them. Especially the lead girl. I think the father and daughter were actually
believable. Very much so.
Because we've reviewed movies recently where the father and daughter weren't believable.
So this was a nice switch.
Yeah, it was a nice switch from
not believable to believable.
Yeah, not believable to believable. So
I thought they did a really good job with that.
I did too. I thought he did that. Eli Craig and his writing partner wrote a really great adaptation of this film. Overall, I think this was a great movie. It was a really great balance of horror with that gore and the comedy. The kills, some good kills, some typical kills, some typical weapons, some different kind of weapons that were used.
Chainsaws.
Oh yeah, you don't like the chainsaws at all.
Oh, I would have been deader than a doornail. I'd have froze up. I'd have been slashed, done. Kill me.
The comedy was very generational. If you like that generational type of comedy, so I think it was very well rounded. I'm excited to see it again. Actually,
yeah, I think this is definitely a movie you could watch again. And
now,
enjoy.
Unfortunately, this review is coming out after it's been in the theater,
but that's okay.
Because we would have rated this as go pay the money, to go see it in the theater, because I think it was worth it.
It's expensive to go see a movie, so I definitely think this was
very
well
expensive
worth
to go
our
see
money.
a movie, so it's well worth to go see it in the theater, which is not in the theater anymore. So yeah,
but when the next one rolls out, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I think it will definitely be a good one.
So, but at least go watch it on streaming when it comes out.
Yeah.
June 10th.
I think it'll be better on streaming than the theater in a way.
You do? Do tell.
Well, okay. Because I feel like when you're at your own home, it's like you have your sense of comfort and you're safe there. And then when you put on like a horror film and it's dark and you have your popcorn and your whatever, I think you get so vested that you kind of forget you're in your own house. And then when like you start hearing the
Stuff
creaks or
happens.
the crack, like stuff happens. So I think, if you're kind of into that type of thrill, I think this will be a great movie for a fun date night, a friend, like friends coming over, hanging out, watching this movie. I think it's definitely worth the streaming.
Yeah, I think it's a good popcorn movie. That's what I differentiate between, a very thinking, cerebral movie and then a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And I like both. And this is
I do too.
a popcorn movie.
But I will also say it's nice to do it at home because unlike me, I at least have to go to the bathroom one time. So at least at home, you can hit pause and then you don't have to be caught up on it.
Yeah. If you could just start
pausing movies at the theater,
that'd be good.
for bathroom breaks,
we're all going to the bathroom.
I would totally be
Everybody
on
has to go to
board.
the bathroom right now, and then be back in 5 minutes, and we'll restart the movie.
You would have total anarchy in the theaters, but you never know. I mean, this could
That's a
be
thought.
something we could implement in.
Who thought there'd be reclining
Bathroom
seats, food served in theaters, heated seats? Who thought that would happen? But it's happened.
Heated seats. What heated seat theater did you go to? Because I froze the whole time.
There's theaters that
Well,
have
you're
heated
not
seats.
taking me to those.
A fun slasher horror comedy.
It is.
Don't take itself too seriously. A couple of good kills in there, some good kills, some good laughs, and I would definitely highly recommend it.
I think Friendo has a place in there.
I think Friendo does, and I think Friendo
will do well.
I would like to see Friendo, Pennywise, and Art the Clown. I'd like to see all those clowns, not together, but I mean just have them be franchise.
Like hang out?
No, I want to see them as a franchise because Pennywise and Art the Clown are already franchise
already going
movies. I think Friendo can be one.
I think so too. I think it's going to be, I'm going to predict, and I think you've said this too, it's going to be this year's like big hit Halloween costume.
I think it's going to be a big hit Halloween costume for sure. So what do we give it for a rating?
Oh, how many screaming smiles? Let's see. Okay, creeper.
What's the rating?
Oh, 4. I say 4.
Ooh, 4.
Yeah, I say 4.
I think 4 too.
Yeah.
I'll go with you on that. I was going to go a little higher, but I'm going to go 4. So go see Clown in the Cornfield. Comes out on streaming June 10th. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with this fun little movie.
I think you will.
And
enjoy it.
Yes, you'll enjoy it. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our. Here I am.
I can't breathe.
I know. They're hard to breathe in for some reason, and they smell weird. So, but please like and subscribe to the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. Obviously, we're on YouTube and all the audio streaming platforms. Please like and subscribe. We need more subscribers. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to have comments.
He'll reply. Trust me. One of us will end up replying to you.
Yes. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in another review.
See you next time.